Okay, everyone, we're going to get started here. First of all, welcome again to the 2020 West Effort High School Football and Cheerleading Banquet. Thank you so much for being here today. In a lot of ways, it feels like a reunion. This is obviously not normal for us to have a banquet this late in the year. Usually our banquet's in February and we kind of wrap things up, so it's great to have some closure, but it's great to bring our seniors together. And while we couldn't have the entire group here, it does feel, it feels right that it's only seniors today because of everything that this class has been through. You deserve the day where you are the stars of the show. And it's certainly about you today, and we're going to celebrate all of your achievements and accomplishments throughout the fall. I want to thank our parents for being here as well and taking some time out to reminisce about a season that seems like years ago at this point, but was only a few months ago. So thank you to everyone for attending today. I want to thank the West Effort High School Administration, our Superintendent Greg Capello, Dr. Gismondi, Tim Camerata, and Kelly Clark at the high school. I want to thank our custodial service, our maintenance service, and our grounds crew. They really do a top-notch job. We're constantly using our facilities almost 365 days a year. So the necessity to keep those things upgraded and clean for us, they do a great job at that. I want to thank our athletic department, our assistant athletic director, and former head football coach Clyde Folsom, our secretary Kim Danzy, and our new athletic trainer Gabrielle Pendergast, who have all done a phenomenal job supporting both these programs. I want to thank Mr. John Jablonowski. John's in the back. John is our program photographer. He does a phenomenal job for us and has a number of pictures there in the back for you to see, and you can order pictures that you would like from him. Thank you so much, John, for your time and commitment to the program. I want to thank the West Effort High School Marching Band and our band director, Tom Kershaw. You know, it's in being an athletic director and seeing so many programs in South Jersey and so many different high schools and being around so many other different athletic directors, you know right off the bat when you walk into somewhere whether or not they take pride in the things that they do in the athletic department that they have and the school that they're a part of. And pride is lacking significantly in a lot of places today. And to see what our marching band, our cheer squad, our football program, our athletic programs, the way that we operate in such a first-class fashion, and Tom Kershaw and the West Effort Marching Band are certainly a catalyst to that first-class mentality. So thank you to Mr. Kershaw. I want to thank La Cecilia and Paula Mascali for not only today's meal, but La Cecilia provides us our game day meals, and she's been a phenomenal supporter of our program. I want to thank the West Effort Youth Football Program and former president Jason Smith. Jason just stepped down, and he's an alum of the program. Zach Knapp has taken over, also an alum of the program, so I want to thank them for their support. We had an opportunity to go down to the youth this year and be a part of their pep rally and bonfire night, and our captain spoke, and it was wonderful, the job that they have done to continue to grow the pipeline of West Effort football. So thank you to Jason Smith and the West Effort Youth Program, as well as the West Effort Youth Cheer Program. I want to thank the NJSIAA. Obviously, they're not here today, but they made the fall happen. And there was a real fear that we were not going to have a fall season. And the fact that we played 9 games this season is just unbelievable. So they gave us the opportunity to come back in phases. We certainly took advantage of every single opportunity they gave us, and they made it happen for our kids. I'm very proud to say that I'm almost positive that West Effort High School is the only high school in the Colonial Conference that made it through the entire fall and winter and so far the spring without having an entire program shut down at any point. Every team that has competed so far has played the maximum amount of games. So that's a special opportunity, and that's a testament to our parents and our kids for doing the right things. I want to thank Riverwinds Community Center. I know it's different being here, but it really is beautiful today. I know the wind's picking up a little bit, but it's really nice to be outside together. So thank you to Riverwinds. I want to thank Greg Black and Sean Page for the setup here. It's beautiful. I want to thank our parents for being the best parents that any program or organization could ask for. As my daughters get older and they get more and more involved in youth sports, organized youth sports, I have more and more of an appreciation for the job that coaches do and administrators do for those programs. And you know, to be able to throw your kid away for 8 hours a day to be with a group of men and women to teach them and bring them along, there's a lot of trust in that. And our parents, you've trusted us with your student athletes from the start. So I can't thank you enough for that trust. It's been absolutely a pleasure in being a part of your lives and your families' lives. I want to thank the student athletes that are in attendance today, our seniors. Thank you so much for jumping on the train and taking the wheel. This is not my program. It's not Coach McClaney's program. It's not West Effort Athletic Department's program. This is run by the student athletes. And any success that we have is driven by their desire to make this a special moment in their lives. And when you look around at you seniors today, you have to understand that. You have to understand that you took control of this and you made it what it is. You made this season possible. It could have gone in a lot of different directions. And you took control and made it an incredible year. So thank you to our student athletes. I also want to thank our head cheer coach, Alyssa McClaney, and her staff. We talk about first class. I've had so many people come up to me in athletic director meetings and say, what is it about your cheer staff that just every time they walk off the bus, everything they do is first class. They look great, they walk to the field together, everything they do is regimented, and it's an unbelievable organization when you look around and see some of the other cheer squads in the area. So thank you so much to Coach McClaney. She bleeds green and has been an incredible addition to our department ever since she was hired. I want to thank our coaching staff. We spend a lot of time together, and it's really a family atmosphere to have the opportunity to watch the guys on our staff grow up together, grow their families together. You know, more every year it seems like there's another little baby on the way, or another little kid running around at our team dinners, and to be at these guys' weddings and the birth of their children and watch them grow from just coaches and professionals to husbands and fathers has been really, really special. We have 3 more babies on the way this year. I'm pretty sure they're all due on the Paulsboro game day. So if anybody's looking to volunteer, but Coach Zadikoff, Coach Mullen, and Coach Pancello all have babies on the way. But this staff is really, really special. And I don't know that there's another group of men that I would want to be a part of these guys' lives and to help assist the parents in raising them. And you guys are really, really special in my heart, and I want to thank you for your commitment and dedication to the program. And myself, I want to thank my wife and my family for being a part of this thing and jumping in full steam ahead. So thank you to Ashley and the girls. It was an unbelievable season in a lot of ways, and it's hard to even remember where we started. But believe it or not, this time 1 year ago, I think we were probably on a Zoom meeting with the whole team. I mean, once we found out we were shut down, to ask 60 kids in the middle of a pandemic that the world has never seen before in our lifetime, and say, hey, we're going to meet on Zoom meetings. Running backs, you're going to meet on Mondays at 2 o'clock. Linebackers, you're meeting on Tuesday during your lunchtime. You're doing it with everything else going on. They showed up all the time. It was unbelievable. And if people weren't showing up, the seniors were finding out why they weren't showing up. Then we were on Strava, and everybody's checking each other's runs. And then we're doing push-up competitions, and the ability to improvise, adapt, and overcome, which is that IAO term that we have used so often over the years. This is where the rubber met the road when it comes to that. We were forced to improvise, adapt, and overcome every single day. And they answered the call every single day. And when it came to phases and coming back with masks and thermometers, split up into groups, and this group's got 10 minutes, then you got to warm up here and then go here and 6 feet apart. And they just consistently made it happen. And I'll never be able to thank them and thank our staff and our parents for making it a reality. I mean, it was really impressive the way that we operated, made no excuses, and continued to offer the greatest experience we could. So it was amazing. Thank you very much to our players. And finally, I want to thank our managers individually. Maddie, Samantha, and Aaliyah. They were absolutely integral forces in making this happen. They were there as much as the players, if not more often, helped in temperature checks, and truly were an extension of the coaching staff. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge them. They're all graduating. I don't know what we're going to do to fill those shoes, but they were an amazing piece of this thing, and I think managers are underrated and overlooked, and we had 3 of the best in the business that could have probably ran this whole thing on their own, so thank you to them as well. And at this time, I would like to call to the podium our head cheer coach and West Effort alum, Miss Alyssa McClaney.
Hi everyone, I'm glad that we stuck with the outdoor venue to start the season and finish the season. Thank you so much for riding this journey with us, and no matter where we were going to make a decision, how late in the day something came, whenever the opportunity was available, everybody here stepped up to the plate to make sure it was the greatest and the best way that these seniors, that all of these players and athletes could be celebrated as possible. And that is a testament to why we are here in May, 1 week before cheerleading opens up its new season, just to properly close out our 2021. I would also like to thank La Cecilia and Riverwinds again for hosting us. I know that it is a tall order to be at kind of the beck and call of the high school sports, and especially the football program, to kind of make sure that we are all fed and healthy and having a wonderful time with our family and friends, but then to do it again for our late banquet is very, very special. And a safe venue at that. Safety was a huge, huge component of everything we did this year. And I am very grateful for the staff that we had, especially our newcomer athletic trainer, Ms. Gabrielle Prendergast. She really stepped up to the plate of the excellent format that Coach Panchella had laid out. And while we are kind of a well-oiled machine here at West Effort, we are still set in our ways. So something like a global health scare really shook us, but Gabby came right in. She made sure everybody was appropriately prepared, and we had a protocol that all the sports, not just football and cheerleading, followed every single day, and that's why we were able to have that kind of success and that zero cancellation type season where we got everything out of what we were putting in possible. I would also like to thank all of the coaches. I think it's a real testament to the energy that you all put in, both cheerleading and football, to the way that the athletes receive that, and want to give that back to you 110%. I do not think it would have been possible, or may not be the same reflected in other programs where they're not ready to run through a wall, especially not for a pandemic, because they don't have coaching staffs like you. Our newcomer to the cheerleading staff was Coach Liliana Roman. She is one of our graduating seniors of last year, and it was an excellent addition to the staff, especially in a time where we needed somebody to know the cheerleaders, know the program inside out, so that that creativity could grow together, and we could really create something special for these seniors and for all of these athletes against all odds. While Coach Morrell has already thanked the parents, and I think every minute of every day we have thanked the parents, it is still not enough. You are all such an integral part of how any of this was possible. And seniors, if you would join me please in giving a round of applause for the parents and how they were the backbone of anything that happened this season. Please. We are truly a special family here at West Effort, and I don't think it ever had an exclamation point like it did this year. Coach Morrell talks about how other athletic departments come up to him and talk about the athletes and the coaching staff, but it really all has to do with you and what's happening at home, and how the care extends beyond your front doorstep into all of our lives, and making sure that all of us are the best that we can be, looking the best, feeling the best, and as prepared as we can be to face anything head on. Coach Morrell did an excellent job summing up the kind of wing it season we had, whether it be online workouts and a totally digital tryout process that happened last year, where the captains were on call pretty much 24/7 for all these brand new faces and returning faces, while we tried to navigate how that evaluation process would take place, any of the materials that were available online for cheerleaders, while the whole season was very optional and at your own discretion to participate in. It was impressive how much was really showing up, how much participation was still there, 100%, if not 95, every single step of the way when people were scared. And that kind of comfort and that safety in the communication from the captains, from all of the veteran cheerleaders, making sure that everybody on the team felt welcome and safe and excited to participate, really showed in what we were able to still create as far as performances go, and just a wonderful, positive, and spirited atmosphere for our friends and our peers on the field and on the sideline. I was scared for almost all of the days of last season. It felt like any second I was gonna have to be told that we need to shut it down, but one of the West Effort alumni in town, Nick Baugh, he's currently kicking some cancer butt. He reminded me of the importance of fear this week, and that is to face everything and rise. And while this is not the end of a pretty big hurdle that West Effort High School or all of these graduating seniors will have to face, it is certainly one that will shape the way that you approach anything that is ever going to give you pause and give you hesitation to continue forward. But I know that you have all of the tools and certainly the preparation behind you to continue to move forward and soar in whatever you choose to do. That fear is just defining you in flying forward. To move forward with our ceremony, though they cannot be here to be physically recognized, I would like to bring up coaches Menino and Edwards to start with our freshman football awards.
How's everybody doing today? So this is a very fantastic season that we had this year, coming out of the pandemic, going onto Zoom meetings. I would hold them with the freshmen probably every week almost, just to kind of get a feel of what to expect this season, because we couldn't really meet them in person. So throughout the season, or throughout the off season, we would meet once a week. We'd go over plays, we'd go over what to expect when we get on the field, and just kind of give them a rundown what it's like to play for West Effort football. The freshman program is one of a kind in the sense that it really shows them what to expect when they get up to the next level here at the high school level, coming from the midget program. So it's definitely something that I take pride in, Coach Edwards takes pride in, Coach Dixon, our head freshman coach. We all take pride in being able to take those incoming freshmen, work with them, and then send them off to Coach Brown next year. And it's something that we love every day, coming here and doing it. So our freshman class, I'm going to start off with Joey Barquero, Anthony Quintando, Colin Conway, James DeRosini, Kevin Dukowski, Dan Gilbert, Aiden Green, Zach Hugel, Jacob Lang, James Norman, Brendan Lockerty, Corey Ratcliffe, Talon Tarantino, Caden Thurston, Andrew Ty, and Marcus Carter. Those were our upcoming freshmen, and they are now sophomores in the program, and I wish them all the luck.
I just wanted to thank everybody here just because I'm pretty new to this area. I moved here last year. I came down from kind of north central Jersey in Bernardsville, New Jersey, so same kind of group, so kind of the same area. And the thing that impressed me the most about this this coaching staff and this program was just the tightness and the family oriented goal that we got going here. It's like for 30, 20 years, all I've seen is championships and kids that are coming through here and are just succeeding and going on to the next level. So being that I went to a next level and played in college, it's important to see freshmen grow up and experience losing, experience going through just the smallest of things and just showing up on time. And with the pandemic, it was a lot harder for freshmen to do that. So the fact that they got through that and now they're going on and being sophomores and they're taking that next level is just impressive. So we're just excited to take on this next group and just mold them and just teach them about tradition and the program that we got going here, and just
to the strength of the execution and the tradition of excellence here at West Effort High School. So our 2020 team had many diverse personalities that contributed to the different strengths, ensuring any kind of success that we were able to have together. And this award has certainly garnered a lot more momentum since Team GPA has been introduced as far as the whole athletics-wide celebrations at the annual All Sports Banquet. Throughout the 2020 classroom, this young lady totally transformed her mindset to adapt to a classroom that was no longer in the physical sense, whether it be her bedroom, at her kitchen table, or on the road at a practice. She really adapted and made sure that she was still giving that effort 110%, and if not, communicating on ways that she could strengthen her performance and reach out to teachers, guidance counselors, and coaches so that she was the best person that she could be as far as a representation of our high school goes. And that same effort was exhibited in our practices, at our games. She never missed a beat. It was as if the pandemic had not even happened to her. Her determination continued in cheer, in the nest, and the classroom. She is an extremely competitive individual. She juggles a full course load in the classroom as well as for our program and her competitive program, which just placed nationally at a invitation-only all-star cheerleading competition. And she also maintained the highest GPA unweighted for both seniors, underclassmen. She almost edged out a senior last year, but they ended up taking home the title. And for her junior year, she was able to lock up the spot. Our Scholar Athlete Award for the highest GPA and Best Athletic and Academic Performance for our cheerleading program was Miss Michaela Sturgis. Michaela did receive her award at home this week along with all of her letters for this year. And so we hope that she is waving them in front of the TV right now, maybe sending us an Instagram later that we can share to the story. To bring up our football recipient for Scholar Athlete will be Coach Shields.
Thanks, Coach Millay. First off, it's great to see everyone. This is such a weird year, and we were able to really overcome a lot. It's awesome to be able to honor the senior class, honor these parents here today. And through many obstacles and phases, you know, it's not phase one anymore, so that's good to know. It's a testament to the entire organization's commitment. They were able to complete an entire season without any of the many issues that other teams around the area saw. Like Coach Morrell pointed out, we really were the only team in the Colonial Conference that played 9 games. It's a testament to everyone here. Just thankful we were able to do it. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the man who this award is named after. I had the privilege of being a player and student under Coach C. He was a great coach, but an even better teacher. He knew how to get the most out of his students and always kept class entertaining and insightful. Academics mattered to Coach C, and he instilled that into his students as well as his players. I'm honored to be able to present an award in his name. Our Coach C award winner excelled in the classroom, maintaining a top 25 status within his grade over his 4 years. He earned numerous principal list and honor roll awards during that time. His overall GPA of a 93 out of 100 is exemplary. After speaking with his teachers, they commended him for his commitment to the classroom each and every day, saying he was a model student who wanted to learn and get better each day. As a teacher within the building, I think it's important to note how much of a fall in grades we saw over this last year with the removal of your everyday teaching to virtual teaching. So it makes it even more impressive to see how John was able to maintain his class standing. Fish proved himself each and every day on the football field. No matter if it was pre-practice or game time, Fish was going to give it his full effort. He knew at least once a practice you're going to get a full-out extension dive and catch by him. Something you cannot coach, but when every player you coach to have. I'll miss our daily one-on-ones of practice, where Fish would regularly beat Kyle. Fish uses academics to his advantage, and it was accepted into the NJ Stars program, where he will attend RCSJ for 2 years and progress on to Rowan University. I wish you the very best moving forward, and I'm proud to give you the Coach C Award. John Fisher Keller. Up next, we'll have Coach Ramon to come up and give the JV cheer certificates.
Coach Lily. I would like to take this time to acknowledge the outstanding junior varsity cheerleaders and their amazing season. Although this season was abnormal and not what we planned or how we thought it was, or how we thought it would be due to COVID-19, the junior varsity cheerleaders did not let that affect them and how they chose to dominate the season. I am so impressed with what they had to leave on the track this season. Congratulations to our junior varsity cheerleading team. Alexis Berner, Lauren Budakis, Emma Curcio, Alana Davis, Aaliyah Fanslow, Kaylee Fisher, Catherine Flynn, Sinai Ford, Abigail Gill, Sarah Groff, Delaney Shutman, Angeline Tran, Kaylee Wyman. You should all be very proud of what you have accomplished this season. Congratulations. Now to present the award for the most promising, Coach McLeany.
the year 6 feet apart from everybody and we forget each other's names. Despite a stop and start safety initiative from the state, the momentum of this team was fueled with the promise of normalcy. Normalcy brings with it fresh determination by a lot of brand new team members. These newcomers certainly have spunky attitudes and varying levels of experience with athletics, but those became the perfect tools to achieve their goal that back in May seemed like it was a distant dream. Someone who really stood out to us probably does not even realize how much of a powerful force she became. The technique in her virtual tryout wowed our coaching staff with completely untapped talent. She had so many firsts this season, even with the safety regulations, that it seemed almost impossible that she had not been participating in the sport her whole life. It was refreshing and inspiring to see such a brand new program member completely dive in to what the sport could offer them, and she made the most out of every opportunity, ultimately on her way to becoming a force to be reckoned with. We look forward to seeing what's next in store for this young lady as a returning veteran, and are confident that the height of her jumps is only scratching the surface of how high she will soar. Our 2020 Most Promising Cheerleader is freshman Alana Davis. And with the Brandon Marty triple effort, we have Coach Heron.
Good afternoon. The Brandon Marty Award for triple effort is one of, if not the most prestigious awards that we have here in our program, mainly for what it represents. I believe you're all familiar with who Nick Brandon Marty was as a person, a football player, a brother, an overall family man. We named the Triple Effort Award after him not because of the events that unfolded in September 2001, not because he was a monster on the gridiron, or because of the records he holds. We didn't name the entire cornerstone of our program, which is our weight room, after him because of his statistics. What Nick did was leave a lasting impression on this program. He left a lasting impression on everyone he met. Almost everyone I've ever spoken to about Nick always spoke about how great of a man he was, how great his character was, and to me that's what lasts over time. Stats are meant to be broken, wins and losses. They're here today, gone tomorrow. We've all seen that. What do you think of when you think of someone, when you mention their name, even after years of not seeing them or speaking with them? What other memories and feelings that come up when those that knew Nick think of when they hear his name? I doubt that it has anything to do with football. I doubt that has anything to do with statistics. Our winner of the Brandon Marty Award for triple effort has many of these great qualities that I just mentioned. Michael Griffith is a player that I will soon not forget, but when we bring his name up or hear how he's doing in college, in his career, or his personal life, I'm not going to think of how he was a three-way starter his senior year, how he ran and controlled his offensive line. He mentored young players and did it the right way, always with a smile on his face, always for what was best for the program, the team, and his teammates. The character of a man is often revealed in the worst of situations. For Mike, getting hurt and not being able to finish his senior season could have defeated him. I have seen many who take the role of being in the background once they are hurt, who just feel bad and just show up to team functions just to still be a part of it. Not Mike. He has set the bar for how to act. He not only was at practice every day, but he was there helping coach, helping encourage, and doing everything short of running on the field and throwing a block on waggle whams. For those actions, his character and the way he carried himself throughout his entire career will always be remembered. His character and who he is as a man has earned him the Brandon Marty Triple Effort Award. Congratulations, Mike. And now for our cheer JV football letters, JV football letters and the coach Banquet.
So as everybody else has done, I want to thank everybody for coming out today, especially to our senior football players. This is almost a surreal moment for all of us because it brings us back to a bit of normalcy as we all sit together and can appreciate this moment. The West Everett JV football program is something special because it's almost underrated in a way because of what you're expected to do as a player and in your development as well as trying to get on the varsity football team. So what you're expected to do as a JV football player is you're expected to practice all week, show up at a varsity football game on Friday, and then you're supposed to come out on Monday, play in your football game, and be prepared on Tuesday to give a good look to the varsity football players and try to work your way into a varsity position. So essentially you're preparing yourself for 2 games and a full week of practice with no days off. So for our JV football letters, to start with our juniors, Jose Diaz, Tyler Crasting, Brian Lockerty, Evan Matlack, Brandon Monahan, Justin Opalm, Trevon Tinsley, and Riley Thurston. Those guys were essential in the development of our football program this year because they were expected to lead this group and bring them out every day with a workman-like mentality and get them ready for the week. Our sophomores were Jabril Barksdale, Will Bilodeau, Aiden Kern, David Davis, Sean Farabee, Tommy Gasparovic, Greg Gligger, Greg Honeycutt, Sean Kennedy, John Trexler, and Ramir Vaughn. This is a group of guys that I expect a lot out of next year. I understand their work ethic and what it means to be a JV football player and what it means to be a West Everett football player. These are often an overlooked group of people, and I think that they really, really developed this year in a season that was unprecedented for all of us. So as they continue to grow, I believe that they will become better people for what they've done this year, and I think that a lot of them have a very, very good chance of impacting our program in this coming year. So I would like to pass off to our next award, the Cheer Rookie of the Year, to Coach McLean.
Our next program award is not as consistent in its appearance at our banquet, but we felt it was well deserved for the 2020 season. This individual has impressed us week after week with her dedication to improvement and excellence. We are quite positive she tried out this year not to stand out on the sideline, but simply to learn. Like a sponge, she was hungry for all coaching feedback or any new element of the sport that was introduced. Perhaps the way we had to ease into the season allowed her to polish her talents until they truly shine. She is a go-getter when working through a routine, adapting to a fluid situation, and especially in her maturity and positivity when frustrations began to mount. This level-headed approach earned her the only freshman position on our leadership council during a season when strong voices were needed the most. We are so proud of her remarkable freshman year and can't wait to see what her future holds. 2020 Rookie of the Year is Angeline Tran. Now presenting the award for Unsung Hero is Coach Pancella.
All right, let's start off with some thank yous as well. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Coach Jason Morrell for number one, taking me in 8 years ago under his wing, getting the opportunity to spend the last 7 years working as the athletic trainer, and Coach Morrell being my boss. The things I've learned, the things I've taken in, the way I've grown as a person because of Coach Morrell is probably a similar impact that he's had on all of you. And I just want to thank him and his entire staff for the opportunity to coach football this year after serving as the athletic trainer. Being around this program and this school and this community over the past 8 years, oftentimes I forget I'm not from here. But what an unbelievable staff he has put together of graduates from West Deptford who have come back to give back
to such an important part of this community is something beyond special that I didn't quite understand when I first got here, but I now have a full grasp of what West Deptford football means to this town and how much everyone puts into making this possible. So thank you all for that. Thank you to the parents, guardians, grown-ups for allowing me the opportunity to coach your young men and the opportunity to spend so much time with them. It takes a great amount of trust to hand over your children to another group of men and allow them to spend that much time with them, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve your children and give them the best opportunity possible, especially in a time like a pandemic with an ever-changing schedule. Pretty amazing what all of you have done to make this possible this year. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the players, cheerleaders, managers, Sean Fleming, the entire video crew for their pride, passion, and commitment to the football program and to West Deptford athletics. Today I have the privilege of presenting the Derek Holmes Unsung Hero Award. Derek Holmes was a staple of the West Deptford sports community. He served as a youth football and wrestling coach over multiple decades and was willing to give an incredible amount of time, energy, and enthusiasm to the development of West Deptford's youth. Simply put, an unsung hero is someone who does great deeds but receives little or no recognition for them. The recipient of this year's Unsung Hero Award not only fits this description, but puts it on display day in and day out in all areas of his life. I've had the pleasure of getting to know this young man over the past 4 years and watch him grow and mature, and it has been beyond rewarding. In his senior season, he rushed 32 times for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 9 catches for 116 yards and another touchdown. On defense, he had 12 unassisted tackles, 34 assisted tackles, and 5 pass deflections. But what was more impressive than any of these statistics was his unwavering ability to help make those around him better. He not only knew everything about his position, but he knew the other 10 positions. He also could do my job better than I could do my job. He would sacrifice his own playing time and preparation for the betterment of his teammates and this program. It is an honor to present this year's Derek Holmes Unsung Hero Award to my friend and someone I will always remember, Mr. Brendan Doc Shivers. All right, and continuing on with our program, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Coach Frank Mullen.
Good afternoon. Right now I'm going to introduce the Special Teams Player of the Year. I have another speech after this one shortly after. Coach Brown really hooked me up this year with some players that I have a long history with. This young man that I'm about to introduce, I've had the pleasure of coaching with him since he's been in 7th grade. He's played many different positions and took every moment, tried to be the absolute best he could be at whatever position he was asked to play. This young man just wanted to help his team the best way that he could. He certainly wears his heart on his sleeve and is nothing but a grinder. When it comes to special teams, he is the model of consistency. There was never the time as a special teams coordinator that I had to worry about him completing his assignment and doing it at a high level. As a long snapper, he was as close to automatic as you can get, which at the high school level is very impressive. To the Special Teams Player of the Year, and from one long snapper to another, I truly appreciate your hard work and the pride you took in whatever it was you were asked to do. The 2020 Special Teams Player of the Year, CJ Senatore. I'd now like to turn the podium over to Coach McClaney to introduce the cheer underclassmen varsity letter winners.
another thanks and a shout out to our entire video department that made all of the highlights this year more memorable. I know that it was done more intentionally for the parents and the fans that may not all be able to share in the live game action at our venue, but it really made a special treat for cheerleading to be able to watch back film together, like we're Saturday mornings football players, or to just share in football more and be more engaged and more excited about the sport itself. You may not know, but some basic football knowledge is part of the cheerleading tryout, because I feel like both sides of the ball are super important if you're spending every Friday night on the sideline. But to know that everybody was watching those live streams back together on a Saturday morning, excited, talking about the plays, able to talk about it with their classmates when they would be texting them, it was really, really cool to see that the sport come alive again, where it doesn't always play that big of a part in why Friday nights are special for cheer. Also, Coach Pancella, I'm not sure if you have been recognized this way by your staff, but it was so special to see you take on a new role this year as a coach instead of as an athletic trainer, because I think you brought a different kind, or an added kind of joy and silliness to the sideline that isn't always there. Coach Donikoff does a good job of bringing the juice and Carmine, but I mean, that's a tall order for 2 men, and you really made me excited to be out there every single week, hearing your voice echoing out across the field. It was awesome, and it really brought a lightness to what is a very confusing and sometimes a little emotional season. We are always most highlighting that our varsity's biggest strength is the ability to IAO. In the past, that has really only applied to the last-minute changes during a game and the unfamiliar venue setups that new fields would have, or the occasional 6 a.m. pep rally broadcast on the news. But this year, they did not think twice about being on call the entire season long to seize any kind of opportunity that was offered to them. At a moment's notice, they were ready to stand beside their friends and peers in support, prepare for performances to showcase their own hard work, or set the tone for a future winter cheer team that had originally been pushed off until normal game conditions could resume. I was most proud of varsity's resilience when, for a few emotional days, we were sidelined from the sideline, and they still persisted, hoping their friends on the field could hear their voices cheering them on from behind a computer screen instead. Without hesitation, these young ladies still met their own goals and excelled past their original beliefs of what a pandemic season could offer them, as new faces added to the varsity line even still throughout the fall. The full amount of power that all of you hold is just one more week on hold until you can unleash it fully for the 2021 season, but congratulations to all of you and what you were able to achieve this year. We have 5 first-time varsity letter recipients: Veronica Keynes, Kylie Gill, Olivia Groves, Heba Nasir, and Brianna Urena Davis. Taking home the bronze 2-time varsity letter winners are Olivia Brassberger, Celeste Gibbon, who are 2 of our newest captains for next year, Madison Lebrecq, Anaja Lawrence, Emma Reddington, Michaela Sturgis, and for our 3-time varsity letter winners, the silver medals, Jenna Haley and Victoria Lee, the remainders of our captains for the 2021 year. We are so, so excited, ladies, for what you are bringing to the table in just 7 days, so I hope that you are as ready as we are. To continue with our underclassmen varsity letter recipients, Coach Hera.
Actually, Coach Donikoff going to present this. So today, obviously, today's for our seniors and a fantastic group over there, but obviously our program is built on a foundation of our underclassmen who come back, and we are more than excited for what our future holds for them. So I am going to give, and I wish that they could be with us here tonight, but I know that they're today, but I know they're watching at home. So I just want to give our underclassmen letters, varsity letters out. So we have Joel Asaro, Joe Bilodeau, Josh Castro, Ryan Harris, Jamar Jones, Robert Schmeiser, Jacoby Williams, Corey Baglevo, Brady Clark, Jordan Eli, Lawrence Howard, Luke Laxton, Tyrone Oden, Jordan Roan, and Alex Svitansky. So I am more than excited for what the future holds for us, and if we give a little round of applause for them. Most Spirit is coming up next, so we have sorry about that. We have Coach Roman.
We talk a lot about spirit during the year. It is a cheerleading squad, but this year's honoree brings it all to the table tenfold. This cheerleader is a thoughtful leader, genuinely communicating questions, listening to concerns, and constantly acts with Eagles Nation's best interests at heart. Coming from a neighboring town full of its own traditions, it is that much more impressive how this young woman amplifies what it means to be an Eagle every day. She has attended every varsity game, home or away, uniform or not, because she takes advantage of any opportunity to support her peers on the squad and on the field. In a hybrid school year, her Spirit Week efforts are just as full throttle, and she never misses a beat, sharing her Eagle pride even from behind the screen. We are so proud of how she challenges WDHS to represent its roots proudly, and her teammates and coaches stand confidently behind her as one of the newly selected senior captains. Congratulations to the most spirited Miss Les Gibbons. Now presenting Coach Mullen for offensive lineman.
The center position can be a difficult one. With the plethora of great offensive line coaches on staff, I'm able to truly focus on the center position. It holds a special place in my heart as I played and coached the position for the entirety of my football career. The Offensive Lineman of the Year 2020 season has a similar background to myself in that regard. I've had the pleasure and honor of coaching this young man since he was in 7th grade. Immediately, the word that comes to mind when I think about this young man is growth. Since 2015, I've watched this young man grow physically, which has been impressive. Since 2015, I've watched this young man grow mentally, which has been even more impressive. Since 2015, I've watched this young man grow in confidence, which has become apparent in the way that he's able to play. Lastly, since 2015, I've watched this young man grow as a great man and a great leader, which to me is the most impressive and the most important. Seeing this type of growth in a player makes coaching the sport worth every second of the long hours that are put in. For the Offensive Lineman of the Year, I want you to know that even though you did not wear the number 50, you will always hold a special place in my heart, and I am truly proud of who you are as a player and a young man. The 2020 Offensive Lineman of the Year, Chase Austin. And now to introduce the Defensive Lineman of the Year, Coach Herron.
All right, so kind of like what we're hearing around all the speeches and everything else, there are just a lot of high expectations in this program, especially, which everyone in this room really understands or out here understands. As the years go on, they don't diminish though, they don't ease up. The pressure to perform and to live up to those expectations, to the legacy of this program, continues to increase. For kids who are 15 to 18 years old, this isn't close to being easy, especially not if you want to be successful here. The expectations are high, the pressure is on, and all eyes of a town who just expect us to go out and win, all right, are there. Right? We are expected to win and win with authority. And that's a lot. And that's a lot of pressure day in and day out. Our Defensive Lineman of the Year recipient took the road less traveled. Braden Garson dealt with a lot of adversity throughout his high school career. Braden had back injuries that sidelined him for multiple years, and which is easily very defeating and very frustrating for a young man. Braden also dealt with what many seniors who have sat up here, which is living up to expectations of past family performances and heroics, right? Having that legacy, that name on the back of your jersey. The last hurdle Braden faced was with himself. Staring at that man in the mirror and telling him that he's not afraid of the challenge that is in front of him his senior year, to trust not only himself, but his teammates and coaches that believe in him. Braden started that process, and it was a daily challenge. Slowly but surely, he started to show not only myself and the coaching staff he was ready to finally have the year that we knew he could have, but to show his teammates, and most importantly, himself. You could see it in his demeanor, his confidence, and how he performed every day in practice, and especially on game days. I challenged Braden every day. It wasn't easy on him. He knows that. But I knew there was a warrior within him buried deep inside that I was dying for to come out. And we all knew what he was truly capable of being. As long as he believed in himself, there wasn't anyone that could stop him. I'm beyond proud of Braden, not because of his play on the field, but how he has met and exceeded the programs and my expectations this year. Of the warrior mindset he embraced, but most importantly, how he left his own legacy he made proud on the name of the front of the jersey, but also the back of the jersey. Very well deserved this year, your Defensive Lineman of the Year, Braden Garza. Our senior cheerleader letter presentation, Coach McLean.
Before recognizing our varsity senior cheerleaders, I'd like to take a second to congratulate the only senior class football player who received a Most Spirited Award, a signed megaphone by the entire squad of 2 years ago for the way that he lights up the sideline, but also makes sure the sideline is heard loud and clear, whether you are standing on the field or at home on Red Bank. He makes sure that you know that the Eagles are in town and they're playing tonight and they're going to give everything they've got. So, Carmine, thank you for everything. Seniors, we have been a broken record for the better part of a year, celebrating your resilience and your flexibility when faced with the unimaginable. I know my biggest fear was that I would be the next person to have to deliver any more heartbreaking news that could undermine the way that you deserve to be recognized. However, it cannot be said enough that your mental toughness far exceeded the physical strength that we saw shine during your program tenure. You were the backbone of this season. Your willingness to keep moving forward radiated to every person beside you, new, veteran, and coach. It has been an absolute privilege to have had a front row seat for the greatest show of watching you grow into strong young women. You always have a home in the nest and on the track, but I promise we will be cheering for you no matter how far you continue to soar. So for our 2-year varsity letter recipients, please come forward. Ms. Michaela Ferreira. Take the time, you earned this journey. Miss Dejanay Green. Cheyenne Hill with the most beautiful megaphone that you've all been appreciating. And our silver 3-year varsity recipients, we have Caitlin Bradley, Aaron Ford, Allison Lawrence, and Lauren Thompson. And our only 4-year varsity senior, one of our senior captains, Miss Ava Rollins. Congratulations, ladies. You more than earned today. As our seniors make their way back to their seats, Coach Roman is going to present our Most Improved Award.
This next award goes to someone who I've not only had the honor to cheer alongside her on the track, but to be able to see her shine and improve day by day, now standing on the other side. Her ability to grasp every critique we had and completely embed it within minutes into to everything she has done this season is why she is so deserving of the Most Improved Award. This individual is someone who puts endless amounts of hard work into every motion, jump, and stunt to continue to grow her cheerleading career. I truly love watching her flourish into an amazing cheerleader and person she is today. I cannot wait to see what she accomplishes in the future. That is why the Most Improved Award for the 2020 cheerleading season goes to Miss Katie Bradley. Now presenting the senior football letters, Coach Morrell.
Thank you, Coach Ramon. First of all, as Coach Mullen stated earlier, we've been with this class since 2015 or 16 when they were 7th graders, and we had the opportunity to coach at the youth level before we moved up to the high school level. And the growth of this group has been incredible, incredible to watch. And sometimes when you're with them all the time, as often as we are, you don't get an opportunity to realize how much growth they've made physically, emotionally, and mentally. And I'm always proud when a middle school teacher will come up to me and say, hey, I saw Aaron Graber the other day, I saw CJ Senator, whoever it is, and man, the strides that kid made. I was talking to Miss Ramagli the other day, one of our phys ed teachers at the middle school, and she had mentioned how much of a pain in the butt this group was when they were 8th graders, but how much they've grown, specifically Ian Murphy, but how much they've grown in the last 6 years into the young men that they are today, able to look you in the eye when they have conversation, shake your hand when they see you, articulate themselves, and just operate in a first-class fashion. But most importantly, in this year, this group has done the most amazing display of leadership and persistence that this program has ever seen. As we said earlier, it could have very easily gone a different direction this year. We could have shut down, not only permanently for the year, but mentally and emotionally, we could have shut down. We didn't have to do the phases to come back in July. These guys not only did it, but they could not wait to do it. They held each other accountable for it. They held our coaching staff accountable for it. It wasn't, if we're going to do it, it's when are you going to do it, Coach, and how are we going to do it? I remember having a Zoom meeting with this group, the seniors only, and saying, look, what do you guys want to do? What do you want this team to look like this year? What do you want this team to represent this year? And they took the steering wheel and drove this thing through a pandemic like no other group of kids could do. This group does not believe in excuses. When they grow up and they become fathers and husbands and professionals, they will absolutely be leaders in everything they do. You need to understand that each of you are capable of being an incredible leader at every single task you take on in your life. You've already proven that. The things you have done, the sacrifices you have made, the beliefs that you have believed, and the lifestyle that you have lived is not normal. I know it feels normal to us to get up at 4:45 in the morning, to be in the weight room at 5 a.m. or do plyos from 5:30 to 6:30, or show up for a Victory Road session at 4 a.m. with the lights on, crawling through mud, pushing rocks around. To us, it's normal. That's not normal. And as you continue to mature and go through life, you need to continue to embrace the grind and the pride that you have operated with. The grind and the pride you have operated with. Because there are just not many people anymore that have the ability to grind the way these young men do and have done, and operate with the pride that these young men operate with. The belief system that you have created in this program and instilled will last forever. There are no excuses in this program. They're not going to be accepted, and they're not going to be tolerated. And that doesn't come from me. It comes directly from the guys sitting in this place right now. That's the standards you have set. And Coach Heron mentioned it earlier. It doesn't get easier. Those standards, you don't take a step back on the standards with every passing year. It just seems like every class that comes through here just pushes the bar higher and higher and higher. And on top of that, we started the season 0-4. 0-4. Unheard of. Unheard of. in West Effort football. Unheard of. And to come back and never allow the ship to go astray. I'll never forget walking in that meeting the day after the Paulsboro loss, which was a bad loss. We watched ourselves kind of saunter through the tunnel onto the field, and things could have gone south. We could have been 0-9. We could have been 0-9. With the schedule that we had and where we were at that moment, very easily could have abandoned ship, had people jumping off the side rails and swimming back to shore. None of that happened. If anything, that group took every single underclassman under their wing and said, this is the direction we're going, and you're not getting off the boat. And we figure it out, it's going to get turned around. That's exactly what happened the next week during the Camden game, and they just continued that momentum throughout the back half of the season. And there's so much to be said for that. The pressure that you felt at 0-3, then to go 0-4, and never ever jump off the boat was pretty incredible. Pretty incredible, because it's easy to be a front runner when things are going well. But I beg of this senior class of football players, please continue to believe in the lifestyle that you have led during your 4 years in this program. Please do that as fathers, as husbands, as professionals. If you continue to grind and operate with the level of pride that you took in this program, you will absolutely reach your greatest heights and be successful in every single aspect of your life. With that being said, we're going to call your name. When you come up, you'll see Coach Heron. You will receive your yearbook that really puts our season into perspective. You'll receive your ring, and you'll receive your award. Our first senior, mentioned earlier, he's our offensive lineman of the year and a captain, 2-year letter winner, Chase Austin. Our next senior is an offensive and defensive lineman. Kyle did a great job in the weight room this year and was constantly ready for whenever his name was called to go out there and give us the greatest effort he can. We talk about kids that have made great progress since they were young. It's been a pleasure to watch Kyle make the strides that he has made, and that's 2-year letter winner Kyle Bowman. Our next letter winner, it's been a ton of fun with Kyle Dugan over the years. And Dukes has really made a name for himself in this program and did an unbelievable job stepping in as a corner for us, made some big hits throughout the back end of the season, and had an incredible commitment level to this program. That's Kyle Dugan. Next senior you got to hear about earlier, he was our Scholar Athlete of the Year, and Fish was Mr. Consistency both on the field, in the weight room, and in the classroom. Very proud of him for being such a great young man and great manners, always looks you in the eye, always shakes your hand. That's John Fisher-Keller. Our next senior couldn't be here today, but he was an unsung hero for this program, and I was remiss to thank Mr. Raymond Kirshner, who was actually here earlier helping us set up and make sure our live stream and our highlight video were ready to go. But Mr. Kirshner and Mr. Dixon, Mr. Valerio on Friday nights when we had the live stream going, I mean, nobody did it better on live stream than our crew did. And this young man was really an unsung hero behind the production of the live stream, but also made the decision not to play this year, but to be a videographer for us. He filmed every practice, came right in, put it up on the huddle for us. He also created our highlight video this year, and we're going to miss him dearly. Again, could not be here today, but that's Sean Fleming. Our next player also could not be here today, but Noah decided to come back out. He hadn't been out since his freshman year. He grew about 7 inches. He's probably 6'8" right now. He has potential to go on and do great things. He's a very smart man. Came out here and was a big part of our Gang Green offense who helped prepare our varsity team, and that's Noah Fortson. In terms of power, I don't know that we've had some powerful players, but this guy, you heard about him earlier, had he had the opportunity to have 4 years in the program and not deal with injury, he would have been one of the most powerful players we've ever seen, certainly on the defensive line, and that's Braden Garson. Our next senior, I believe, is the only three-year starter at the quarterback position in the program history, and it's going to be very awkward, uncomfortable, and weird not seeing number 13 out there next season. You know, he's been the guiding light behind this program for the last 3 years. That's Aaron Graber. Our next senior is one of the best leaders we've ever had. He followed in the footsteps of his mentor, Tassir Money, and Michael is as honest a young man as you can find and was an incredible motivator in terms of the leadership of this program and keeping these guys on the right track, and that's Michael Griffith. Our next senior was the leader of our defense. He has been an unbelievable, consistent player in his years here. I'll never forget him getting thrown in as a sophomore in a Deffert game and making his way as a young linebacker that year, stepped into the role of offensive tackle for us the last 2 years and was back at linebacker this year, and that's Ian Murphy. Next, we have one of our managers. I mentioned our managers earlier. They're just an incredible group of young women, so organized, so much pride, so much attention to detail. She was kind of the ringleader of that group, and that's Aaliyah Remlinski. Our next senior, you heard Coach McClaney mention earlier, this is the master of bringing the juice. We actually created an award Fridays before the game. We give out awards from the previous game, and we had to create an award in honor of this guy's enthusiasm and energy. We call it the Juice Award, and that's Carmine Sager. Our next senior is another manager. She's a 2-year varsity letter winner for us. Excuse me. And Madison has just done an outstanding job as kind of the team mom. She's kind of like the team mom, man. She really takes care of all of us. Excuse me, I remember coming back in from practice field one day, and I had like 80 ties in the office. I couldn't figure out what to do with the ties, and she comes in with a coat rack on wheels. I walk into the office, and she's got every tie by color on the rack, and all the t-shirts hung up. And she's like, "Thanks, Mom, appreciate that." But she's done a great job for us, and that's Madison Sayer. Our next senior is you heard earlier, and to have 4 varsity letters on a football career is really unheard of and pretty incredible. And he was Mr. Consistency, and you don't realize how important the long snapping position is until you don't have a long snapper, and then you realize, holy smokes, like that's one of the most important positions on the field. He was also an incredible leader and just willing to do anything he could for the program, and that's CJ Senator. Our next senior was our unsung hero of the year. He earned the nickname Doc as a 7th or 8th grader because he could diagnose the entire play, knew every single player's rule. He was like a coach on the field for us, and just a great young man, and that's Brennan Shivers. Our next senior made incredible strides from his junior year to his senior year. I remember him coming into the weight room before we got shut down that first lifting cycle, and Jacob was all in on his physical gains, and he was trending upwards so quickly with his strength, and it was really a shame that we got shut down because I think his power would have been through the roof had we had that last cycle of lifting. But he came in and was just a workhorse for us in every facet of the game, and just one of the toughest players we had on the team, and no nonsense, yes coach kind of guy, and that's Jacob Shutman. Our next senior is not only a great football player, but one of the best, if not the best, athletes in the building. He, along with our other captains, just created a leadership momentum that was unbelievable. And he's also phenomenal at taking youngsters under his wing and showing them the ropes. He's clear-cut, to the point, no nonsense. He did a great job on both sides of the ball this year, as he had to play defensive end for us as well and fill the role of that Bobby Royal from a year ago, and Cody did that phenomenally. He played every aspect of the game for us, also returned kicks, and that's 3-year varsity letter winner and captain Cody Thurston. Our next senior could not be here today, but he's another one of these guys that played up through the youth program, and it's great to see these guys grow up. He did a great job on special teams for us and also filled in at some running back position, a very physical runner, and that's Deron Tinsley. I mentioned that the managers in this team did a great job, and our final manager today came into her program a little bit late this year, but Sam knew right away when she became a part of this thing what the expectations were, and she never missed a beat and was a great addition to our program this year, and that's manager Samantha Walker. And our final senior this year, big class. We've been really blessed with a lot of big classes of seniors the last couple of years. And I was making fun of him earlier because when you talk about making progress and growing throughout his career, and he knew he was going to get this today, but I remember Tyler, when his brother Michael was a senior, Michael was in the weight room in the squat rack. And I said, Mike, where's Tyler? And he goes, he's out in the hallway. He doesn't want to come in because he doesn't want to squat. He hated lifting back then. He didn't want to play. And I walk out in the hallway, and Tyler's looking at me, and he's a lot shorter, a lot smaller, and he's like kind of on the brink of crying. And he's like, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to play. I go, well, you're playing, so you're going to have to walk in there now. There's no question about it. And the maturity that he has established and become, I mean, you think about his game against Pennsgrove, and really he and Aaron Graber leading us back into that game with an incredible catch and run and a couple other big catches. So proud of this young man for making himself into a football player and a big part of this team, offensive and defensively, and that's Tyler Gates. Congratulations to the 2020 senior football class. All right, our next award will be the Offensive Player of the Year award. And to the microphone, we ask Coach Baggerman.
We can all agree that this is an unbelievable program and the standards are extremely high every day. To earn the Offensive Player of the Year award, you really, really have to put everything you have on the line every day. It's not show up when you want, do what you want. It's an absolute grind. We expect our players on a daily basis to come out and give us everything they have. But to exceed that expectation is nearly impossible. Aaron Graber has done just that. Aaron Graber is the definition of what we have at West Deptford. Aaron has taken on the role of not only playing one of the toughest positions on the field, but in one of the toughest times. Statistically, as a player, Aaron has been phenomenal, rushing for 678 yards on 92 carries, while passing for another 690 yards on 42 completions, tallying over 1,300 yards on his own. While these numbers are impressive, it does not begin to describe the person I have watched him grow up to be. Aaron was asked to take on the role of a leader early in his career, being the starting quarterback as a sophomore. While this is no easy task, it could not have prepared him for what was to happen in the foreseeable future. This year, Aaron was forced into change, just like the rest of us were. But there was one large difference. Aaron was tasked with being the model of a senior leadership for an outstanding football program with little to no offseason. And boy, did he deliver. Leading by example, Aaron showed not only his teammates, but our community what it takes to be successful. To describe his work ethic, we need to look back at 1 week, Woodrow Wilson. In a game where we may have been physically outmatched, that did not stop Aaron from being who he is. He was the individual who kicked the door down when everybody else may have thought it was too tough of a task. His drive that day led us and continued to lead us through the duration of the season. In a year with so many ups and downs, Aaron's consistency persevered. From a young age, Aaron showed his potential, from the youth program all the way till his last game as a West Deptford Eagle. But what we do know is that this is not the end of the road for Aaron, as he will continue his career at King's College, where I am sure he will continue to grow and remain just as consistent as he has been for our program. So to you, Aaron, thank you for everything you have done for this program and will continue to do. You will always be part of the West Deptford football family, and I am proud to award you the Offensive Player of the Year award. And now I'd like to pass it over to the Defensive Player of the Year award, Coach Donikoff.
All right, I'm going to be presenting the Defensive Player of the Year. Today is always one of my favorite days of the year as we get an opportunity to honor this program and all the dedication, hard work, our players, our family, our cheerleaders, and everything that they put in to make this a season that's obviously never going to be forgotten. The 2020 season, the season we had to recreate everything we knew. But I can honestly say there's not a better town, group of parents, coaches, and especially football players to go through this with, and it was all led by this senior class. It's always bittersweet to be standing here in front of such a great group of young men with the realization that it's the last time that this outstanding group of seniors will be together as West Everett football players. Today, I'm presenting the Defensive Player of the Year award to a senior that I've had the opportunity to work very closely with over the last 3 seasons. To explain this player, first I need to explain what our defense believes in, and this player has earned the right today to take home this award. Our defense is developed and believes in a very particular philosophy. We believe it starts with an attitude that is not just physical, but shows a desire to compete regardless of the competition. Our defense believes in detail-oriented play and has the ability to adjust and adapt to any offensive scheme with confidence. Our defense believes in passion for the game of football and taking pride in giving 100% every single rep. Our defense believes in working tirelessly to seek the opportunity to advance and master their particular skill set. Our Defensive Player of the Year not only upheld this standard to a high level, but he did it in a selfless manner that his teammates believed in. Ian Murphy was without a doubt not just a leader on this team, but an impact player on the defense who upheld our philosophy and actually made it come to life. Ian's not only an example of what our defense stands for, but he was a leader on the field. Being a linebacker in our system, you must know the other team's offense, be able to call the strength, ensure alignments are correct, and also do your job at a high level. To put it into perspective and show how special this player is, he not only was involved in almost every single play on defense, he played this season both Sam and Mike backer at some point. And on the opposite side of the ball, he was an offensive lineman. He came over to defense and he could drop into coverage just as good as our D-backs. For those who don't understand that, it's just about unheard of. Ian put in everything on the field and left everything he had for his brothers on the field. He's an example for our future players and what it takes to be a West Everett football player and especially a leader on our defense. Today's defensive player is Ian Murphy, Defensive Player of the Year. All right, next up we have our cheer and football most valuable players, and we have Coach McClaney coming up.
I've been a little bit dreading this because that means it's really over. But at the risk of crying in front of everybody we know and on live stream, I think there have been enough letters and enough voicemails and even one tearful video message when I couldn't be there in person to see the final performance that have done it justice if I can't quite get the words out today. Our most valuable players are second to none. And truthfully, I don't think that this season would have been possible without their forethought and their heart and their love for everybody in this program. The entire family was their family. There were not just pandemic hardships that shook their lives, but there were a lot of changes and a lot of scares that were not fair for a senior already facing unimaginable circumstances to have to go through. I don't have children of my own yet, but I imagine it feels a lot like this. And it has been very special to have been able to have all of my own memories in West Effort shaped by watching them grow, whether it be a stroller that pulled up to my practice when I was in Kelly Green over at this field, or volunteering as a coach for the very first time and seeing a little girl that looked like a little blonde Avril Lavigne come up and say hello to me. It has been a journey where both of them have expressed that they hope to be like me someday, and they made every bit of that good on their promise this year to deliver the best season possible for their teammates. It's easy to cheer for players like these because they have friends like these young ladies behind them, willing that same heart and that same drive into everybody that joins this program so that they can hopefully have the same experience that they had for 12 or 13 years. I hope that you continue to call me and update me on all the wonderful things you are still going to do in your lives. But truthfully, I know that every single person on this team is better because they were coached and taught and led by women like you, including the growing numbers that we have about to show up to our tryouts next week because of the season that you were not only able to provide for our cheerleaders right here, but also the young ladies that are taking their transition from 8th grade to the high school that can't wait to be a part of the special fantasy and home that you've created for them and are now welcoming them into. So thank you for 12 long years and one very, very long year for being the most valuable players and the biggest hearts that I know. Senior captains, Miss Ava Rollins and Allie Lawrence.
I also want to mention that Ava and Allie come to school together in the morning and walk by me at the side door entrance to the weight room. And every single day, biggest smiles on their faces. Hey, Coach Burrell, have a great day, Coach Burrell. And you know, there's some kids that walk by with their ear things in, looking down, hoods up, like miserable. You're like, hey, have a great day. And they just keep shuffling by, don't acknowledge your existence. And those two come in every single day with such an incredible amount of enthusiasm. It's been an honor to watch you both grow up and mature, and I'm very proud of both of you, so congratulations on that honor. Thank you for being great young women and a part of our program. Our football most valuable player is Cody Thurston. And when I think about Cody, the first thing I think about are the endless numbers of conversations that we have had the last 4 years. You know, we were in the building together, and he had the opportunity to just come down to my office, and we would sit and talk and talk and talk, and some conversations were really hard conversations, some conversations were long conversations, some conversations were fun. But to see the maturity that Cody has made emotionally over the last 4 years has been astounding. And I'll never forget when he was a rising junior and Bobby Royal and Alejandro Jimenez were our tight ends at the time, and Cody was down with the second group at Wing T camp. And both of those older guys got hurt. And we called Cody up. I believe he was the wide receivers at the time. And we called him and said, hey man, you gotta come with us, you gotta be a tight end. And this was the moment. And now if you known Cody when he was a freshman and sophomore, physically he was great, but mentally there were hurdles that he just couldn't get over. And when things didn't go well, you knew there was gonna be a downward slide coming. So we as a coaching staff, when we called him up, knew at that moment, this is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. And the very first 2 plays that he ever played at tight end, and granted, he would have never played the position before, came up and we told Aaron, throw the ball to Cody on this play. And Aaron threw a dart and Cody dropped it. He came back to the huddle, we ran a different play, we said throw it to Cody. And Aaron threw a dart and Cody dropped it. So that was his moment. That was the moment where, all right, buddy, if you want to be part of the varsity crew, here you go. Here's your opportunity. Make the most of it. And he dropped the first 2 passes. And we looked at each other in the staff and said, well, looks like it's not going to work out. He was never flustered. He dropped both those passes, and his attitude, mentality, effort, nothing changed. And it was at that moment that we said, holy smokes, he might be growing up here. And from that moment forward, he became one of the best leaders we had in the program, one of the most physical and emotional and mental strongholds that we had in the program. And it was unbelievable to have conversations with him as a leader as to, all right, what are we going to do next? COVID hits. Cody, what do you want to do here? And he was so honest and straightforward and to the point. His maturity level was through the roof, and I could not have asked for a better leader and captain than Cody Thurston. He played on both sides of the ball. He had 15 receptions as a tight end for 287 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was named second team All-South Jersey as a tight end. He has also, on the defensive side of the ball, led the tackle chart with 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. He also had 7 kickoff returns for 177 yards. He's going to be incredibly missed in this program. It has been an honor to be a part of your life for the last 7 years, and I cannot wait to see what you do at Lindenwood University next year as a wrestler. He was also, Cody placed 7th in the state this year, 8th in the state a year ago. Clearly one of the best athletes to come through West Effort High School, and our most valuable player for the 2020 football program is Captain Cody Thurston. All right, prior to our cheer captain's charge, Aaliyah Remblinski, one of our managers, has asked to just say a few words real quick. Aaliyah, you have the microphone for 1 minute and 37 seconds. So today is about our seniors, and this group has already lost so much that we're absolutely going to give you the opportunity to speak today. So, Aaliyah Remblinski.
Okay, I promise I'll be quick. For us as managers, and I speak for all of us, thank you to both of you, because this season would have been a lot more difficult without both of your help. It was a really shaky season. It was really tough, but we pulled through, and I'm really proud of us for getting this far. Thank you to the parents for being there every step of the way with us and for making us food and just being there for us. Thank you to the coaches. Thank you, Coach Burrell in particular, for giving us this opportunity and letting me and the rest of the managers be a part of this team. Thank you to the boys for being just such a lovely group of men, and I'm very glad that I get to know you guys. It's not often that the managers get to speak at anything. I don't know if you've had any managers speak at anything like this before. Okay, so I'm the first. So we're always just kind of there. We're always trying to do our best to take care of you guys, to make everything work in the background. We're doing our best to help the parents when they're setting up food. So thank you, all of you, for giving us such a wonderful season and such a wonderful opportunity to be a part of something that we normally never would have. So thank you, all of you, very much.
The articulation of some of these youngsters here today is really unbelievable. I remember listening to our captain speak at the youth pep rally, and the ability of some of these young kids here to stand in front of a crowd and be able to translate what they want to say and make it clear and concise is really unbelievable. Aaliyah, thank you so much for doing that. Great job. And at this time, as we move to the back end of our program, we always have our cheer captains and football captains give their senior charge, their captain's charge, to the underclassmen watching, setting the expectations and the standards for the years to come. So we would like to call our 2 cheer captains to the microphone right now to give our cheerleaders captain's charge.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. We're going to start by saying thank you for allowing us to speak at an incredible 4 years. Our time here, we have learned many valuable lessons that we will carry on with us throughout our lives. We truly cannot believe that this is the end. We are very grateful for every memory we have made. This program has taught us the importance of dedication. Being dedicated plays a huge role in our program and is something we feel is essential in our success. Nothing could have been accomplished without the commitment each and every teammate has displayed.
Being a part of this program has taught us the importance of having pride in each and everything that you do. One of the most crucial lessons that our coaches have taught us is how much pride and confidence truly make a difference in everyday life. Holding yourself accountable is something that will forever stick with us due to it constantly being instilled in us for these past 4 years. This season has taught us that nothing is guaranteed. Our mindset this entire season was, when we had the opportunity to cheer, to leave it all out on the track. We proved to ourselves that hard work really does pay off no matter what the circumstances were. Never knowing if we would have this chance again was a constant reminder to embrace every moment, make the best of every situation, and treat every moment as a gift.
Being captain in such an unpredictable season, we hope we have left behind the mentality of last one, best one. To maintain the greatness of this program and all that it stands for, both girls, old and new, need to carry on these traditions of excellence. Thank you to everyone who has been in our corner these past 4 years. We couldn't be prouder of this team and what they have accomplished. Thank you to the boys for giving us a reason to cheer. Thank you to Mr. Morrell for always making us feel included in this family. Thank you to our coaches for going above and beyond for this team. We can't wait to come back and support the girls and be their cheerleaders. We'll forever be Eagles. Thank you.
First off, I want to say I'm extremely proud of every football player that I got a chance to meet and play with this year. I officially want to thank you all for allowing me to serve as your captain. Being a West Everett football player, or a student athlete for that instance, comes with a few things. The first is grit, the second is passion, the third is energy, and the fourth is the love of the game. Every player that steps on that field, or every player that's in that film room, is expected to possess and have the ability to show all those traits. To the 2021 team, setting the bar or standards high in West Effort isn't referring to eye level. For in West Effort, setting the bar high typically refers to goals that may never be touched. You may ask why it's like that. Well, when the goal seems impossible, you will do anything and everything to persevere to it. Again, thank you for everything. Keep noted, boys, that 4 and 5 in our eyes showed perseverance and togetherness. But to the town that shuts down every Friday to watch you guys rumble for 2 hours, you are expected to achieve much higher and much more. They don't accept anything less. With that being said, my final message to you guys is go get it done. Not just for yourselves, but for the whole community backing you. Thank you.
First, I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody that's here, people that aren't here that are watching at home, the parents that are at home, the kids that are at home. I want to say thank you to the cheerleaders, special thank you to Sean Fleming for filming everything, and thank you to our managers. This year was something that was unforgettable, and whether that's in a good or bad way, the one thing I took away from it was the team building aspect. I mean, we came into a year, we're a pretty tight-knit group over there as seniors, but we had a lot of underclassmen that needed to play for us this year. And for us, it was important to build the team. And we started off by everything that we could, because we could only hang with each other. We couldn't go out, we had a bubble. And being with the juniors, the sophomores, the freshmen, that meant a lot. One thing that really separated us was how together that we truly were, especially through the times that we went through. Going through and picking up juniors, sophomores every day especially showed me a lot as a leader. That these kids really look up to us and want to be in the position that we are someday. As the guys behind me can say, being a leader for this team was something that we all welcomed. And we loved every moment of it. There's nothing that we could change. And we wanted it this way. To the guys over there, we love you all. I love you all. You guys are the best brothers that I could ever went on the field with. It truly was an honor being on the field with you guys. To the parents, I want to say thank you. It was awesome getting us up there at 4:45 in the morning, taking us to the school to do lifting, plyos and stuff like that. I mean, it truly was something that, a commitment that many people wouldn't do. Like Coach Morrell said, we found normal, not many people did. And finally, to the town of West Effort, I want to say thank you for welcoming us, shutting down the town every Friday, like Chase just said. It was something that's truly special and something that I'll never forget, looking into the crowd and seeing every person in West Effort there. Thank you.
My message is quite simple. Oftentimes it's overlooked as we're all here sitting at the tables wrapped in green currently at our senior year banquet, about how fast time goes throughout this program and throughout high school. I remember when I was a freshman, my brother always told me, you know, make sure you really grasp onto everything. It's going to go by really quick, and before you blink an eye, it was over. As I sit here with all my guys, the 3 other guys behind me, the cheerleaders and the parents, as well as the coaches. We look back on all the times, all the way from midget year, back when freshman midgets, all coming up, playing in the jamborees that we had, and finally getting to this point where we're saying goodbye to everything we hold near and dear to our heart. My message to the younger kids is to simply take control of the time that you have left, because before you know it, it's all going to be over, and you're going to be up here saying the same things we're saying. Thank you.
Over the past 13 years, I've been blessed to be a West Effort football player in this town. I would not trade the 13 years of memories for anything. The brotherhood runs so deep in West Effort, and the rich tradition, it runs through everybody in this town. And I thank the whole town of West Effort for blessing me with that. I want to thank the coaches, every single coach who has touched me upon my 13 years being here. They enabled me to grow as a football player and grow as a man. I want to thank my family for the best support system a kid could ask for the past 13 years. You guys have been amazing to me. To all the boys that I've ever played with, the brotherhood is unbreakable. It really is. We're going to live like this for the rest of our lives, and we're going to have these memories for the rest of our lives. I am blessed to have come up through this program, and now it is gone, and I'm passing the reins on to future West Effort football players and West Effort men. So my message to you guys is dream big, cherish your moments, embrace your highs and your lows, and accept nothing but your best at all times. I appreciate it. Thank everyone for coming out today. It's been amazing. I appreciate you doing this for the seniors. It was great.
Great job, gentlemen. As we close out our ceremony this afternoon, I would just like to once again thank all of our football family, cheerleading and football family, and athletes that are here in front of us, that are here watching at home. That this is, we say it 1,000 times, the most special type of family and heart and program that we are all fortunate to be a part of. It makes me think this year especially about an article that was published during Coach Morrell's first year as head coach. The newspapermen described the way that the players look up to him as they would run through a wall for you. And I think that that kind of mentality is not just exercised on the field, but was given by every single member of this community every single day this season. I think that it makes these people make it easy to be bedazzling masks, because what's one more glittery accessory for the 2020 season? Or to be planning a last-minute pep rally in a parking lot with the marching band because we are not all able to travel to our next away venue together. That every single person here would give the shirt off their backs to the person beside them, and I hope that these graduating seniors still approach their next endeavors, their colleges, their jobs, their families with that same kind of 110% commitment, because it will be brought back to them as well, at least tenfold. They deserve everything that they have been afforded and more, and I hope that they never lose sight of what Allie and Ava said, the last one, best one mentality, because it really does make everything even more precious and savor each moment more. So I'll turn it over to Coach Morrell so that he can get to what you've both been waiting for, the highlight video.
Thank you, Coach McClaney. Just some housekeeping things as we begin to wrap up. What we're going to do is, when we're done here, we'll take our chairs inside and just set your chairs up inside. And then before we leave, so when the video's over, hold on, gentlemen, we're not going anywhere yet. Just 1 second, thank you. Before we leave, after the video is completed, I'd like if this entire senior group of football players and cheerleaders can come back out here and get a full picture together. And then senior football players, please don't forget to take your jerseys home with you. as well. So at this time, we transition inside and set up for our highlight video created by Sean Fleming. All of our underclassmen that are watching, you will receive your awards from this banquet this week at Plyos and at Lifting. And at this time, we will send out the highlight video link for those of you at home. Thank you.